I'm Eric Loy, and welcome to Eric Loy Interviews. On this podcast, we talk with folks from the VTuber community on their channels, their talents, their stories, where they come from, and their plans for the future. Elisza Kitsune joins us. Hi.
Hello.
Hey, appreciate you coming on. Please introduce yourself to everybody.
Thank you for having me, first of all. My name is Elisza Kitsune, and I am a Phantom and VTuber.
When did you get started on the VTubing scene?
I would say, I think I have a really bad memory, something you should know about me. If you tell me something 5 minutes ago, I'm probably not going to remember it. But I think about like a year or two ago. I'm not exactly sure what the time frame is. I'm pretty sure it was like about 2 years ago, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just wait till you're old and you forget like your name and things like that. It happens. Don't worry about it. It just natural type of thing. Do you know why did you get started? Was it something you wanted to do? Did you enjoy watching YouTubers and decide to do or VTubers that is and decided to do it?
So actually, it was a really natural transition for me. Before I became a VTuber, I was actually a face streamer. So I would use my face cam and I would stream.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like, before I even started streaming, actually, I had an OC. Her name was Eliza, and online I always just went by Eliza.
Yeah.
So I kind of just merged them together and used my OC as, my VTuber. And yeah, that's how we ended up here with me being a VTuber. Though I will say I don't really fit into what like VTubing is. A lot of people are, voice actors. They have like special talents and they really play into the whole like online persona thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's not really me. I just use a VTuber as a way of representing myself.
So it's not it's I guess it's more of an avatar then, because it is putting yourself out there just with a different name.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool. Yeah, it is kind of different than what I've heard before. Because a lot of folks do use it as not so much representing themselves, but representing an aspect of themselves. So Eliza is all of you would say?
I would say all of me and even a little bit more. So there's like a lot of lore behind her, but I'll save the whole spiel for maybe another time or later on in the interview, right? But essentially, my IRL self, I suffer from a personality disorder called BPD, borderline personality disorder, and it basically makes me feel emotions very intensely.
Wow.
Eliza also kind of suffers from that. And so she might even take things a step further than I would in real life.
A little more putting them into play, you might say.
Yes, more extreme.
Yes, a little bit more. That's why Deicider is on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes. But the having that particular disorder to deal with, has it been easy for you to go into streaming and then VTubing, or has it made it harder for you think?
I think in some aspects it's definitely made it harder. Mainly more so with the IRL side of things. I have a little bit of trouble like time managing. Sometimes I'll go like through an emotional episode like right before streaming, so I just can't stream. Like, especially if I had plans to stream that day,
Right.
Like I would have to set it aside. Because I'm really open about mental health, but I feel like it's not something I'd want to personally like show on the internet,
Right.
that side of me, because a lot of people I feel like would interpret it as inappropriate or immature, and overall the episode doesn't really represent me as a person. It's just me going through like a tough few hours or a tough time. But on the flip side, having a personality disorder really does it can help with streaming, because it makes it easy for me to flip through different like emotions and know what I want to show people. Not in a fake way. I strive to be very genuine, very down to earth, and very authentic. But it's very easy for me to basically assimilate into different groups. So if I had like three friend groups, for example, one uses dark humor, the second uses not dark humor, it's very easy for me to assimilate into both groups
Hmm.
because I just have different personalities or like assets of myself,
Mm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It does. And I'm going to try to add two and two and come up with four here, but it sounds to me like you don't really want to put that out there as necessarily part of yourself because you don't want to uh, trade on it. Say this is me. I am this. Um, Put that out there first in front of you. You're a person first, and whatever you have is next. Um, it's part of you, but it's not you.
Yeah, exactly. And especially if people don't know me, you know how clips can be taken out of context,
Mm,
this and that. I don't want people to have a negative opinion of me.
yeah, yeah. You're not just doing this because you have this. You're doing this because you want to do it, and then it's come along with it. Because
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah, exactly. Now you also have on your link a V manager. What's that all about?
So basically, I feel like again with my BPD, it actually really helps me. I guess I would say help on the social media side of things. It's
Mm,
again really easy for me to assimilate and see what it's like to succeed on a certain platform. So it took me a little while, but I was able to really nail down how to get my posts, you know, on Twitter to get traction. Same thing on, you know, TikTok or YouTube. It's mainly been bogged down by my like posting schedule, just because I don't have a lot of time.
right.
But it's very easy for me to see the patterns and be able to help other people see those patterns as well, especially if they're very like unsure about where to take their content or like where their content is currently.
Marketing. That's what we used to call marketing in radio. Being able to
Yeah,
being able to see where you need to go and then go there. That's part of it.
I definitely help with like the marketing side of things. I have had a few clients come under fire for like, you know, personal drama or getting canceled or whatever.
Right.
And I do try and help out on that side of things as well.
Mm. Well, that's never fun to deal with. But just getting things starting and getting traction, I imagine you also have to find out who the audience is. Because there's some folks who will cater to maybe one type of audience. Some folks will cater to one different type of audience, and you could be the greatest entertainer in the world, but if your audience is people who don't want to hear it, it's not going to make any difference. If
Right.
yeah, so is that part of what you're doing?
So I would say right now, mainly my audience is people that, you know, just find my personality appealing or,
Mm,
you know, my stream personality specifically. But even then, I don't really consider my audience just an audience. I
mm,
consider them, you know, my friends. Like a lot of them are my friends. You
right.
know, they hang out with me, they spend time with me. And, you know, even for the people that aren't my friends, you know, I would always welcome them in. If, you know, I was playing a multiplayer game and, you know, they wanted to join me, most of the time I'll say, hell yeah, you can join me.
Mm, cool.
Um, so again, I strive to be very down to earth, very genuine, just very myself, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there's nothing wrong with that as long as you're confident in yourself. You sound pretty confident in yourself.
I try to be.
Yeah. Well, you've been through some things. I mean,
I mean, I'm sure everyone has, right?
yeah, yeah, but I mean, you've come out the other end here, and not not done with anything yet, but you're handling things, and it sounds like to me you've got all your ducks in a row as far as that's concerned.
Well, I try sometimes, you know, there's a wrench thrown in there,
Mm,
but I try and work things out eventually.
yeah,
Everything will work out
yeah.
in the end.
Is it hard sometimes when something happens and you do have to maybe you have a stream that you've really wanted to do and you're just not going to be able to do it? Do you get any backlash from
I
that from people?
I don't really get backlash because again, most of them are my friends and they, you know, no life comes up. I don't really, you know, set expectations on my audience. You know, I don't expect anyone to sub to me like, you know, just lurking even is a
Mm,
lot. It means a lot to me.
mm,
Um, so I don't have expectations for them and in turn, they don't really have like, you know, expectations for me outside of, you know, whenever I feel like streaming and just, you know, turning on the camera and giving everyone a good time. That's, you know, all they expect out of me, really.
That's a really good way to have it at this point, because I've actually posted this on Twitter of all things, is that no matter what you're doing, you're not beholden to everybody to do things that are out of your comfort zone. And if you don't feel good and you don't feel like doing it, don't do it. Um, and with your situation, you just people are going to have to realize that there's just going to be times where you can't do it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's just going to have to deal with it, and there would be no sense in you trying to push through and making yourself miserable, and then who knows what ends up happening after that. Um, did it take you a while to find out about that, or did you try to do that in the beginning, push through?
So I think, well, something with most of my struggles I attribute to my personality disorder.
Right,
I think I had it before I was diagnosed with it, which you need a history of mental health
right,
crises before you can be diagnosed at 18 with this. So I'm
right.
pretty sure I had it before then.
Hmm.
But since I've learned about it, I've definitely tried to work around it a lot more and just sometimes I do, I'm on a time crunch. I do have to push through, but if needed, I will try and give myself a little bit of rest time just to work through my emotions and calm down.
Mm. So you know it's happening when it's happening.
Yes, for sure. Like it's like a wave of like very intense emotion that no matter what you do, you can't calm down, and being around other people most likely will make it worse. So I tend to self-isolate
Mm.
a lot.
Yeah. Well, folks are going through all sorts of different things, and I mean, you can't compare one to the other, because even if two people are diagnosed with the same type of thing, it goes through them differently. So, have you found anybody else who goes through this the same way you do, or that you can commiserate with?
I've met a lot of other people with the same disorder.
Uh-huh.
You know, I think it really comes down to what they want for themselves and how hard they want to try. So as I always say, like mental health, it does affect you, but at the end of the day, um, you shouldn't let it define you, and you also shouldn't blame all your mistakes on it. Like, yes, sometimes you'll mess up, and part of it might be because of the disorder, but you also have to realize that you must take accountability for it and responsibility for it as well if you want to try and improve and try and get better.
Yeah. Sounds like you're prepared for things when before they happen.
Most of the time I am, yeah.
Wow. So I mean, you've got it. You again, I say you've got your ducks in a row. I'm sure things happen that you're not planned for, but it sounds to me like you're ready to handle the situation, whatever comes up, and you sound very confident in yourself in doing it, which I think is a lot of people who aren't going through or having those types of problems have trouble with. When did you develop that type of confidence?
I would say actually it depends on how I'm feeling. Again, my personalities tend to shift around a little bit. I do suffer from insecurity every once in a while as well.
Hmm.
Mainly pertaining to my IRL education. I feel like I'm behind, I'm not doing enough, and also just competitively playing games because I would say I'm relatively high elo in League of Legends, which is my main game.
Hmm.
And I feel like, I want to compete against better people, and it feels like I've hit my ceiling almost. So when I play against other people within the same rank, I feel a lot of insecurity.
Hmm.
But in social situations, I tend to feel a little bit more confident. I just want to mesh in well with people, make sure, there's no drama or whatnot. I try and avoid drama as much as possible. And if, something does come up, I just try and talk to people about it. I try and handle things maturely, which I feel like a lot of people are sorely lacking nowadays. But
Yep. Even old guys like me, we have trouble with that on more
I
than a
mean, no
few
one's
occasions.
perfect.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's. I, do you think that with your diagnosis and what you're dealing with right now, and you don't want to answer this question, just do what my wife says and say, "Shut up, old man," or something like that. But is being competitive online necessarily positive for what you're dealing with as far as mental health is concerned.
I think it can badly affect my mental health depending on how far I want to take it. I'm one of those people that I tell my significant other this all the time. I don't really dream of as sad as it sounds, a future. Actually have a very bleak outlook on life. I don't dream of a future for me or for a relationship or like, even a competitive career because I feel like if I allow myself to have those dreams, then when I try and reach for them and I'm not able to, it would cause me to fall a lot harder than if I were to, not have them in the first place.
Well, I mean, that's a very honest answer. A little bit heartbreaking, but honest. Um, with what you're doing right now on stream,
Hmm.
what is there something that you're really trying to get as a goal? Is there something you want to do with your community that that is something more than have your basic streamer chat relationship?
I think I just want to give back to my community as much as possible. Again, a lot of them are my friends, and even if they aren't, just again being around supporting me, I want to be able to support them in the same way that they support me in,
Mm-hmm.
as many aspects as possible. Sometimes, I've hosted, in the past game giveaways or, just small little things, just as a token of gratitude for just tuning in and saying hi to me and making my day.
Mm. And it helps you as much as it helps them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, being having that type of acceptance. Um, was that foreign to you when you got started? Was it something you weren't used to, seeing that folks were tuning in and just to hear what you got to say, being there for you?
I think since a lot of them are my friends, it wasn't really foreign to me. But once I started hitting the territory of strangers just coming in and saying hi to me, it definitely felt a little bit strange. But I, just always keep in mind that everyone's a different person and everyone has, their own life, dreams, aspirations,
Hmm.
and that taking a little bit of time to even check me out, say hi to me, um, it means a lot to me.
And not giving up on you.
Yeah, it feels very much like, oh yes, I believe in you. You may be small now, but maybe you can be something greater in the future.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And I hope people get this because it doesn't happen a lot. And I always think that empathy is something that's almost completely lost in this world right now. But if you can't put yourself in somebody else's shoes just a little bit, how are you ever going to understand how things happen or why they happen? Um, just because something happens, it doesn't mean it's a direct affront to you. I mean, people can put themselves in other people's shoes. Maybe there are times that you're not going to be able to do something because of what's happening. Hopefully, the folks on the chat know about this, and they say, okay, fine, we'll come back for the next one. Have you been able to get that type of an audience?
I would say so, yeah. You know, sometimes people see the notification pop up and they'll just pop on by. I don't really have a set stream schedule too often,
Hmm.
mainly because I started school again.
Hmm.
But I would say the audience I currently have is the one I wanted to cultivate. One that like, supports each other, that doesn't take things too seriously. If I were to make like a joke that borders dark humor, but also is, really genuine and tries to support each other
Hmm.
in, a, in the same way that I would want to be able to do for them.
Hmm. Do you find that sometimes if you make a joke like that, people read too much into it?
If they do, I could probably clear it up. I do have like, boundaries. Like there are jokes I probably wouldn't like, put out there or like go into the territory of.
Hmm.
But I think that's also something that you should be aware of. And also it depends on who your audience is as well. Would your audience be okay with it? Would they not be okay with it? That sort of deal.
Hmm.
Obviously, there's some jokes that you should never say,
Right.
but I feel like I would never make one of those jokes.
Mm,
So
good. That keeps you out of trouble for the most part if you can
for sure,
stay.
I try and stay out of trouble. So
That's a good idea. That it tends to let you get keep doing what you want to do a little bit longer if you do something like that. Um, what when you're on stream right now, what types of games are you playing?
I'm playing mainly League of Legends, again, my competitive game. I try and bring good gameplay to people, maybe even like, I really enjoy talking about the current meta, the current state of the game, what's good, what's not, why would you make this decision over like another one? That's all stuff I really enjoy about the game.
Mm,
Um, and on the flip side, I also really like doing Souls-like games. So the main Dark Souls series, indie titles like Blasphemous, Hellpoint, just anything that technically falls under that genre.
mm. Are these games that you played before you started streaming?
Um, I would say sort of. My first Souls-like was Sekiro, but it plays a little differently.
Mm,
League of Legends, though, I definitely played way before I started streaming.
yeah. So that one was one you brought along. You didn't have to introduce yourself to that one.
Yeah, it was my first Dark Souls game, and I never finished it. I actually dropped it about halfway since I couldn't learn the mechanics properly. I'm sure I'll
Mm.
pick it up sometime in the future, but as
And
of right now,
put
it's
put it in
on
as
the
a put in like
back
a
burner.
special 12-hour event or something coming up. If you can schedule that sometime in your
I don't think I'm
education and everything
finishing the
else.
game in 12 hours, I'll be honest. You're giving me a lot of credit right now.
I'm pumping you up too much. But with the going your education now and doing streaming, is it and everything else that you're dealing with, has it been tough to keep people coming back to your streams?
I would say my audience isn't big enough for me to worry about that. Sometimes there are number fluctuations. However, that mainly has to do with what game title I'm playing
Hmm.
and also the day of the week as well. There's a lot of different factors when you have to look at like, oh yeah, is it my old audience leaving or is it my you know, or is it just a new audience checking me out and then not liking me and then, deciding to not come back?
Mm. If it has that happened to you?
I would say, again, it really depends for the most part. If someone likes me like enough, they'll see the notification pop up and they'll just join, chat with me for a little, maybe even lurk, and then,
Mm.
you know.
Yeah,
But overall, I would say I've seen pretty steady number growth.
cool, excellent. So again, it that plays into your V manager stuff where you know how to do this. You know how to put yourself in the right position for success.
Yeah, I would say most of it just comes down to not having enough time to make content, especially just this semester.
Mm. So after this semester, you think things will be a little easier on you?
Maybe like during winter semesters, definitely gonna be a lot easier. Spring semesters to be seen, but
Mm. Yeah, you're taking a full slate of courses, obviously.
yeah, it's a lot. 2 days of the week I go to school from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and
Oh,
then the other 2 days I have a 5 hour class.
oh my gosh! When I was in my college, I would skip school from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Maybe that's why I never made any money. That's I'm just now I'm realizing things about myself. Thank you very much. But the
You're welcome. It's not too late to have an epiphany.
yeah, well, I can't afford one. I'll put it up on eBay. The fact that you're able to do this and meet people online and interact and affect people's lives online that you're never going to see in person, that could be on the other side of the planet. Was that something you dreamed of when you first got started?
Honestly, I just dream of making, well, not dream, but rather I aspire to make a difference in other people's lives, to be enough of an impact to where they won't forget about me. Whether it's like, just purely online, if it's a friend in real life, or like even a family member.
Mm. Yeah, that's a great thing to have, and being able to do that just a little bit. You never know how much that's going to affect somebody else.
Exactly.
I mean, that could be the one thing that keeps them from from having just the worst day of their life to just a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel.
You don't know what someone's going through, and again, I've been in that position, so I can really empathize with
Mm.
needing someone and having someone there for you when you really need it.
As far as getting out in front of people and entertaining, were you a person early on who wanted to do that? I mean, did you put yourself out there in front of people and entertain them when you were younger?
I'd say so actually. I was more of an introvert. Even now, I would say my main goal isn't to get big or for fame or anything like that. It's just to make content that, is interesting to people and that I'm satisfied with, that I have fun making.
Mm. And you're well on your way to that. You got some big event coming up in the future. Say you got school in behind you. You still got the stream going. Is there something you really really would like to do with the channel? In a let's put pie in the sky here. What's your big thing you want to do with it?
Honestly, just seeing how far I can go with my channel. And making more content on my side channels. I really do enjoy making YouTube videos, but they're kind of a slog to make and edit, especially when I'm on a time crunch.
Yeah.
Since I prefer making lore videos, but again, that takes a lot of research, a lot of scripting, voiceover, and sometimes I just don't have time to do all of that.
Mm. So what we need to do is add about 12 more hours to your day.
Yeah, yeah.
You can do a lot more stuff that you want to. Well, folks, you can see what Eliza's got going on several different applications. You've got all over the place, and we'll have all of those links in the description for the interview here on the YouTube channel, and also the card, so you can check them all out in one spot. It's an absolute pleasure to talk with you and to see what you've been able to do and what you continue to do with your circumstances. Again, I tell people a lot that you're not the product of your circumstances. You're the triumph that emerges from those circumstances. And I think that you are that in spades.
Well, I'm glad that's how you feel about me. I hope I made a good impression at least.
Absolutely. Come back again soon, okay?
Okay, anytime. Just, let me know and I will make time for you.
Thank you for listening to Eric Loy Interviews. Join us again next time when we talk to another member of the always interesting VTuber community.